refer audience, brothers and sisters. Why? Actually, we should develop sense of brotherhood, sisterhood. Not only our surrounding people, but entire 7 billion human beings we should consider as the human brothers, sisters. And recognize oneness of humanity, human being. Mentally, physically, emotionally, we all same. You want a happy life. I also want a happy life. And we both have every right to achieve that wish. It's deserved for everybody. So, entire 7 billion human beings want happy life. I think in human history, right from the beginning, even we, our ancestors, like animals, from then also innately desire for happy life. So still, and also future, this desire always remain, always go. Now the method in order to achieve happy life. Different time, different circumstances, there's a different method. Perhaps I may say, last 3,000 to 4,000 years, people eventually, found religious faith. So in order to achieve our goal, happy life, we must sort of rely on prayer to something mysterious force. Eventually, the different tradition identify different sort of objects of worship, like that. Then, around 200 years, science and technology eventually develop. So unlike prayer sometimes, may achieve what you pray, or sometimes not. So the people feel better to pray, although no guarantee. But the technology, science, really brought result immediately.
Practical results.
Practical result. So people more and more sort of interest or faith towards technology and science. Of course, a wonderful sort of achievement, really makes big differences on this planet. So eventually people pay more attention about technology or science, these things. So then our life, our concept becoming more materialistic and a neglect about our inner values. However, late 20th century, one way those people or society who materially very much affluent.
Affluent.
All the facility there. Then, and also some individuals level, maybe billionaire, very rich, very powerful, socially very sort of highly respected. But as an individual human being, very unhappy human being, I notice. And they also experience that. So then gradually realize there's a limitation of material value, and material facility will not bring inner peace. Sometimes material value creates more greed, more jealousy. Through that way, more distrust. Through that way, frustration. And then violence also. So this is one factor. Through their own experience, now find limitation of the material value. So begin to seek some other way to bring inner peace or happy family. Those family, materially, everything there, but sometimes between husband and wife, distrust, jealousy, and parents, children, and brothers, sisters among them, also sometimes jealousy, distrust. So once distrust there, trust is the basis of friendship. Once distrust develops, no longer genuine friendship. So that family becomes very unhappy family. Sometimes even suicide takes place like that. Or relying more and more drugs, alcohol, like that. Then another field, the scientific research field, particularly medical science, and also brain
science.
Brain science. For medical science, now they begin to feel healthy mind is very important factor for healthy body, physical health. Through many experiments, now they realize for physical sort of health, mental state is something very important factor. Then science about brain or neuron, these things.
Neuroscience.
Neuroscience. Neuroscience. So in this field, see, there are sort of research reach very deep level. Now they begin feel. And previously, mind simply production of brain. Unless brain movement, thoughts or these things will not come. Yes, grosser level of thought, mind, yes, entirely depend on brain movement. But mind, obviously, daytime, one state of mind, including these 5 sensories.
Experiences.
Sensory
experience.
The sensory or what's the consciousness or something. Then dream time, another level of mental experience. Then deep sleep, another level. And people who sometimes you see in the state of coma, again, certain level of mind. So these quite obvious. There are different level of mind. So sometimes in mental level, due to some past memory or some sort of vision about future, that sort of mental sort of thinking come, then effect on brain. And also now, as a sort of experiment, training of mind, like mindfulness, or think more about warm-heartedness or compassion. Actually, some change in brain. Now, actually, sort of
Experimental results.
experimental sort of result already there. So these two factors, now later part of 20th century and beginning of this 21st century, now more and more people now showing interest about mind, about emotion. People realize real disturbances of our mind, our peace of mind, is mind itself. So how to tackle these things? Not talking about next life or talking heaven on these things. Simply for well-being life or body, these things you cannot sort of neglect. Now, although 3,000-4,000 years period is religion, come, all those major religious traditions, theistic religion, non-theistic religions, all, carry the message of love, compassion, and with that, tolerance, forgiveness, and self-discipline. All these practice, all, teach us. All major religious traditions carry this message. They use different philosophical views. Theistic religions say there's creator, so full of compassion, full of love. So we have to follow his sort of pattern, we as a son of him. So that backing the practice of compassion, love. And one of my Muslim friend, she told me, genuine practitioner of Islam, she should extend love entire creature of Allah. So it's a different sort of philosophical approach, but the same message, same purpose, to bring inner peace through practice of compassion, love, like that. When we face some obstacles, practice of tolerance and of forgiveness. However, I think firstly, I feel, not only in the past history, but even today, religion itself sometimes causing problem. Religious faith dividing people. Even sometimes within one family, some problems start because of different faith. Sometimes marriage find difficulties because of the different sort of faith, like that. So suppose religion bring us inner peace, harmony, respect, but sometimes religion itself causing these negative things. That's one thing. Second thing, out of 7 billion human beings, I think quite a big portion of that population, not much interest about religion. I think many people, religion become like lip service, where not very serious. So now these two factors. Firstly, in order to religious practitioner become genuine practitioner, genuine faithful about practice of love, compassion, we need some effort to bring full conviction, practice of compassion, love, loving kindness. These things are immense sort of valuable benefit to oneself and others. Then I think no danger religion causing more problem. If people who accept religion look one's own faith seriously, sincerely, and implement day-to-day life and religious concept, religious advice become part of one's own daily life, then the significant work, obvious also benefit will come. If religion remain in church or temple, outside no religion. I think when we visit church or even Buddhist temple, those people who attend there looks very, very serious. But outside, not that kind of serious. Look, many religious person corrupted. I often used to telling my Indian friend, two Sadajis here, Indian friend, I usually you see teasing my Indian friend in India. Comparatively, Indian people are very religious minded, isn't it, Indian society? But equally a lot of corruptions there. So sometimes I used to jokingly telling them, oh, your prayer in morning in front of Ganesh or front of Shivaji, you may pray to Shivaji or Ganesh, or today my corrupted work be successful. How can? Like I'm Buddhist, pray to Buddha. Today, my sort of exploitation or bully or cheating other people should be successful. How can? These Buddhas, Jesus Christ, Muhammad, all these great masters, what they're telling us, be compassionate person. If you face some sort of negative forces, you should practice tolerance. You should practice forgiveness. They say that. Never say you should practice hatred. You should practice sort of kasota, bully other like that. Never. So I think once religious people have, you see, strong foundation, belief or sort of conviction, in order to bring inner peace, compassionate mind is something very effective sort of emotion, which bring inner peace. Once that's there, then the religious practice also can be, I think, a genuine, sincere religious faith. I feel like that. Otherwise, these people looks one side of their mind is religious minded. But one side of their mind is very raw, very negative. That's due to lack of basic knowledge about these values. Without sort of full conviction about this inner value, then difficult. So that's one factor. Then another factor, as I mentioned earlier, the non-believers. Usually, the problem is those people who have no interest about religion, they also have no interest about practice of love and compassion. They feel the message of compassion or forgiveness, these things are religious matter. Since I have no religious faith, so therefore I have no interest. That's, I think, mistake, big mistake. So whether individual accept religion or not, it is up to individual. Okay, remain non-believer, but possible, become a very honest, good human being. We can see. So therefore, now my main point is, now we need one way of approach about promoting these inner value without relying on religious
Beliefs. Religious beliefs. Religious concepts.
Yes, religious concept. Now here, I think one living example is India. India, 1,000 years, multicultural sort of continent, society, multi-religious sort of society. So, when modern India, independent India, Indian Republic is to start, the constitution of that country based on secularism. Because the reality, there are so many different religions. So therefore, if you sort of emphasize one religion, then other religion, difficult. Therefore, they
Indian constitution.
secularism. I would like to make clear, when I use secularism, does not mean disrespect religions. Look, India. Like India, so the freedom fighter, almost India's father, like Mahatma Gandhi. These people, you see, because of the capital, secularism. Proponent secularism, India's constitution based on secularism. These people themselves, very religious-minded. So you should not misunderstand. Secularism is something negative towards religion. No. I think during French Revolution and the Bolshevik Revolution, sometimes secularism means a little negative attitude towards religion. That also, if we look very sort of carefully, then we can make distinction. There is no point to against religion. Why? Religion's real meaning is love, compassion. Nobody against the compassion. Nobody against
Dispute. Nobody can dispute.
Dispute these sort of these values. So then, these people against religious institution, not religion. I think during French Revolution, Bolshevik Revolution, the existing religious institution very much supporting their corrupt sort of the elite people. And also sometimes you see support feudal system or corrupted system. Therefore, in order to change that, you have to fight. We have to against this institution, religious institution. So those cases, I think, some sort of impression, anti-religion. That's essentially religious institution, not religion itself. In any way, India sort of secularism is respect all religion, no preference this religion or that religion. One of my Indian friend, the former Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Advani, once he told me, Indian secularism also means respect non-believer. He made very clear sort of example or explanation. In over 3,000 years, around 3,000 years, is one Indian school of thought that is the Sanskrit word is, they say, charvaka, nihilism, against any belief next life or against any sort of spiritual values. So, and Advani told me all the remaining school of thought, spiritual school of thought, criticize that view and sometimes condemn, but meantime refer them rishi. Rishi means sage. So that shows in India, secularism also including respect non-believer. Not only different sort of believers, but also non-believer. So that's the real meaning of secularism. Secularism, so not at all some negative
connotation,
negative sort of meaning attitude against religion. No. Why I'm explaining this is some of my friends, some Muslims, some Christians, when I mentioned about secularism, they show me little reservation. Secularism, Dalai Lama should not use this word, secularism. Say, these people get some kind of impression. Secularism is against religious spirituality, like that. So now, we need certain way to approach these basic fundamental human value without touching religion. That now secular way approach. So recent decades, I always talk the secular ethics, mainly based on biological factor. Even animal, particularly those animals whose youngsters' survival entirely depend on others' care, particularly one's own mother. So because of that biological factor, the affection, sense of concern of their youngster biologically develop. It is necessary for survival of their children. And particularly those social animals. Biologically, they have some kind of sense of community and helping each other. So basically, we human beings also social animal. No single person, very powerful, very sort of educated, very powerful single person cannot survive. Every individual survival depends on the rest of the community. That's the human nature. So according to that nature, in emotional level or mental level, we already equipped affection. Affection brings together. Anger, hatred, fear, also sort of part of our mind. But their sort of, because of the function is expelled. So any social animal, it is very important, very relevant. Sort of friendship, some kind of spirit of cooperation. It's very essential. That's a question of their survival. So sometimes our nature is like that. Biologically, we equip that, but we neglect about these things. We emphasize more on self-centered sort of attitude. Me. That's totally against reality. In order to get maximum benefit to yourself, You must take care more people. Then you get better future. If you carry your life self-centered sort of attitude, forget other, and exploit other, bully other, cheating other, ultimately you will be loser. You will be lonely person. You cannot rely on this person. Now, for example, you see, we have, as a social animal, we have to live among people. So too much self-centered attitude, and always explore other, then look here, oh, I cannot rely. Distrust. This side, distrust. This side, distrust. Result, lonely. Maybe such person, maybe dogs or cats, less sophisticated brain, so we can pay, we can show our affection. We cannot pay affection to our human brothers, sisters, because too complicated. So that is actually against our basic sort of basic reality. So, firstly, we all born from our mother. And generally, everybody, you see, received immense affection from our mother, immense care from our mother. Through that way, we survived. And those people who grown up under full affection of their mother or parent, in deep insight, happier person. Those people who passing through their life, particularly at a young age, lack of affection from their parent, from their mother, or because of abandoned case or abuse case, lifelong, some in deep insight, some sense of insecurity, fear there. So therefore, our common experience, everybody received generally maximum affection from our mother. That experience absorbed every particle of our blood or our body. So people, the whole life, surrounded by affectionate person, the physical itself, then more kasota, relax. The person surrounded suspected people. The physical reaction is tense. This is very harmful. Not only peace of mind, but also very harmful for healthy body. Like that. So I think obviously we know, sometimes the doctor advises us, you should be relaxed, you should take full rest. Rest means relax. Relax means not just simply physical sort of lay down, no. You on comfortable bed and lay down, but here full of worry, full of sort of anxiety, full of anger. How can be restful? Difficult, isn't it? Your physical, maybe you see, difficult situation or even painful or troubled area, but still mind peaceful. You can, actually, your mental state is complete relax. So rest means not physical lay down, but mental state calm. So I think some extent, when I give some talk, some people I notice when they talk, people a little bit nervous. I myself also, when in 50s, 60s, particularly 1954, when I went to Peking and meeting officially Chairman Mao Zedong and some other leaders, very nervous. Then, you see, the date fixed. Then, now tomorrow. Day after tomorrow. Already, like that, isn't it? So most of tense. Then, very uncomfortable. Nowadays, I never sort of pay attention to it. Now I never sort of concern about this formality or these things. I always say talk. Whatever ideas come here, I talk straightforward way. No homework. Of course, except some sort of teaching or explanation, some complicated philosophical sort of text. Then I need some homework. Otherwise, you see, I always feel you are a human being, I'm a human being. According to my own experience, some extent I know your sort of emotional level, what kind of emotions. So, very easy to exchange like that. So, through that way, we can act truthfully, honestly, transparently. That brings trust. Trust brings friendship. That brings happy community, happy society. So, this is common experience. Then use common sense. Among your neighbor, those family who have real human affection among their members or their neighbors, that family, no matter how poor or how difficult it is, actually much happier than those family, very powerful, very rich, but lack of inner peace, unhappy. So if we examine carefully, we will see how much useful about inner peace, compassion. Then most important, the scientific sort of finding. Constant fear, constant anger, hatred, actually eating our immune system. Calm mind, very important factor for sustain our body immune system. Then question, how can develop peace of mind, calm mind? Agitated mind, calm mind is just two opposite. So it is important to study, to know what is the causes of disturbances, agitations, anger, fear. These are the real major causes of agitated mind. So then opposite of that mind, that emotion, is love, compassion. So practice or pay more attention about these loving kindness, these things, and familiarize these things. Then your mind, then the causing of agitation reduce. As a result, your mind becomes more calm. Then recently I saw one article wrote by one scientist. People who often telling lies in deep inside much more stress. I think that is true. And then he stated, usually Americans, every week, each week, a few lies usually happen. So you see some sort of tense inside. So open, honest, truthful, transparent, then they no longer develop stress or tension like that. So these are medical, scientific research for result. So no need relying on holy text, holy scriptures. listen more about the scientific findings and our common sense and common experience. Through that way, we can develop full conviction, ultimate source of peace of mind is inner good quality, human values. And global terms, and global level, genuine peace must come through inner peace. How to develop inner peace? Again, practice of compassion. And much sort of also the unjust sort of situation. Say, huge gap rich to poor. Global level, southerner, northerner. Even national level, America, richest country. One time in Washington, one public meeting, I expressed, this is capital of the richest country, consume most rare. But suburbs of Washington, many poor people. More poor, where poor people there, more crimes. Logically, more sort of envy is where? Envy. Frustration. Frustration brings violence. So therefore, this huge gap, we should not take for granted. We must pay more attention and make effort to reduce this. Then also ecological problem. The natural resources. Human population increasing. And also lifespan also increasing. So perhaps in order to reduce human population, I think older people, should go bye-bye, including myself. So usually I tell you, people, audience, my generation is generation of 20th century. So 20th century gone. Now my generation now ready to say bye-bye. So those young people, below 30, 20, 15, you are truly generation of 21st century. So now this is just the beginning of 21st century. So this century still in your hand. At the beginning of 21st century, think properly and make proper effect continuously, consistently, tirelessly. I think this century can be more happier century, peaceful century, more compassionate century. Now the main thing, our existing education system, basically oriented about materialistic oriented. I think this now time comes, we should carry more research work. How to put in our education system about teaching or education lesson of moral ethics, this strictly secular way. That can be fit in secular education system. I think some of our friends already doing, carry some research work with help of some scientists and also some educationists like that. So I think here also, now time come, think more. Now how to introduce in a modern education system. Just like this morning, we talk about medical things, and then a lot of the point they mentioned about the importance of compassion, these things. So now, there also I mentioned, now we have to, it's not sufficient, just a few professions to express some complaints will not change much. So we have to think the fundamental level and try to change fundamental level. That is education. Education is universal. No matter one religion, very important, very helpful, but never be universal. The education is universal. So in it, we must include some education about warm-heartedness or moral ethics, not relying on concept of heaven or hell or next life or nirvana, not talking these things. Simply how to build healthy society, happy society. That I think now time come. So I do not know how to introduce. You think more and discuss more, and if possible, this is some school. I think we carry sort of as a experimental sort of project, pilot project. I was told some scientist, some university, already you see carry sort of as an experimental sort of project, some few weeks training, mindfulness, or some sort of knowledge, some lecture about value of compassion. Then let them some meditate, some think more, contemplate. 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Before that start, blood pressure, they check blood pressure and amount of stress. And then after 3 weeks, sort of experiment, training, again check, blood pressure reduce. Stress of amount of stress also reduce. And most important, their sort of mental state much more calm. As a result, they are sort of acquaintance with their fellow classmates much improved. So you can sort of you can carry some experiment sort of project on school and judge, see what result after 6 months or 1 year. If something convincing positive result there, then can extend more schools. And then I think state, I think you can adopt these sort of new certain methods. So this does not mean complete change our existing education system. Simply just if you add something like that. So that's about my sort of the concept. Secular ethics beyond religion, that means, you see, not necessarily relying on religion, but actually essential basis of all religions, like that. So that's my talk. Now some questions.
There's time for only one question. Let's start.
Yes, now question.
How do you maintain your health with all your traveling and demands on your time?
Good sleep. I always get up 3:30 early morning. I think most of you, dreaming. I get up, then some sort of meditation, mainly analytical meditation. Thinking, analyze. Further sort of investigation, the reality, our society, myself, like that. About 4 or 5 hours, including some chanting, some recitation. Then about 8 a.m., then start meeting people, go here and there. Then my program usually end around 3:30. Then 4:30, my evening tea. As a Buddhist monk, no dinner. Then around 6:30, 7, sleep. So every day, every night, wherever I live, about 8-9 hours sound sleep. I think good for health. So I think one my official driver or official car in Delhi, usually is the government of India, is provided. So he funds the cricket. Many Indian really loves cricket, isn't it? So you see, whenever some cricket program in different part of India, whole night he just look the cricket. I always teasing him. I prefer sleep rather than look cricket. He can spend whole night look the cricket. Cricket match survey, like that. So then I have one story. One time in Berlin, the hotel room where I stay, the opposite that hotel, that room is the one. I think one nightclub. So about 6:37, I about to go to sleep. Then that room, different sort of light, blue, red, yellow, go like that. And also I can hear zheng sheng, zheng sheng, zheng sheng, zheng, like that. Then about midnight, I wake up and look, still going on, zheng sheng, zheng sheng. Then next morning, about 4:30, I already got up, start my prayer. They're still going on, zheng sheng, like that. That I think too much. Maybe 1 or 2 hours may be good. Then I think better to sleep. The other day I just joke, people who believe Creator, then you see, think that God creates day and night. Day means work, study, think. Night for sleep. So we should not do opposite. Whole night, zheng sheng, zheng sheng, zheng sheng. The daytime sleep is mistake. It's wrong.
Two more questions here.
Yes. Not much hurry. Yes.
How do we move beyond this fixation here in the US with fear and become a more peaceful, loving nation? I know many of us do have that goal, but we are not a large enough body to make it happen in our country as a whole. Any suggestions?
I think this is not only your case, but those countries, particularly, I mean, even America, I think lifestyle in big city or the countryside, those farmers, I think some differences there. In India also, you see big differences, farmers in countryside and big cities. So now these things, you see, we cannot change unless the whole sort of society's way of life, way of thinking, some new sort of deeper sort of way of life based on new sort of deeper understanding about reality. That, as I mentioned earlier, through education. So I think this generation, I think this moment, I think difficult. Whole our life pattern like that. So sometimes I feel like big mission. We individual part of that mission. While that mission, you see, go like that, the individual particle of that mission cannot do much. While complaining, we have to go that way. Only sort of hope or possibility is, look, root cause, our education system. People should know the mental sort of system better. Through that way, whole these problems, I think, can reduce. This is my view. That's why I always, and many of my friends fully agree, fully support. You see, we must think the basic sort of the way of training of our mind.
Thank you, Your Holiness, for sharing the wisdom and compassion you bring. Is there hope for us human beings?
Karsa.
Is there hope for humanity?
Recently, some people asked me, 2012 is the end of the world. So now already October. So if really end come now, should be start. But so far, no such indication. Judging the development within 20th century, I think there are many hopeful signs. Early part of 20th century and later part of 20th century, I think human sort of way of thinking seems to see becoming much more mature. I think one clear example, the concept of war. Early part, sometimes people feel war is the opportunity to show heroes, to produce heroes. Now that completely gone. I think particularly in this country, this is since Vietnam War, I think many people totally against the war, like that. Many different parts of the world, I think, desire for peace, really, and also like Japan, very much against nuclear weapon, because they themselves suffer. So these are, see, I think more advanced sort of
development.
More sort of positive development. Then again, the ecology problem. In early part of the 20th century, nobody talked about ecology, these things. Now later, even political party based on ecology sort of idea, concept. So these big change. And then another thing, spirituality and science in the early part of the 20th century is something to different sort of way. Right? Incompatible, right? Now, that also closer. So I feel the concept, our perception, right? Perception, I think, becoming much more closer with the reality. These are clear indication humanity, through our own difficult experiences, we become more mature. So I'm very much optimistic. Right? Overall picture, I think, very positive change. So still we need pay more seriously, more attention, more deeper level. That I think is important. Otherwise, you see, you should not think we human beings are something negative and our future is, you see, doomed. Should not think that way. Another few thousand will remain that. And after 10,000 or 100,000, then nobody knows. No need to worry. At least I have no worry. After 100,000, doesn't matter.
Your Holiness, on behalf of the city of Charlottesville, the mayor, and everyone involved, we want to thank you for gracing this city with your presence. Thank you so much for sharing your words of wisdom with us.